12 Days of Beardsmas, episode number 9. We have 4 more episodes, including this one, 4 more giveaways, and we're going to feature all of these companies one more time. For this round, I want to go over my top 2 most used products from each company that we're going to feature. Today is Fable Beard Co. As always, Dan C20 on their Fable site and the Fable CBD site. This is a tough one. All of these are going to be tough because I use many more than just 2 products from these companies, but limiting it down to 2, and I'd love for you guys to share your thoughts on the products. We covered the scents, we covered the company in general, but your favorite and most used products from these companies or the ones you're most interested or intrigued in. With Fable, I'm going to go with their beard oil, number 1. I use the heck out of their beard oil. My collabs, the grower, some of the other ones that I really enjoy in there. So the beard oil would be my most used product by them. Now the second one is a little bit different and it's newer, but I am absolutely loving it. I have to stop myself from using it too often or consuming it too often, and that would be the Juggernaut. This is the beard supplement, beard health, beard growth powder drink, and it is a watermelon flavor. I just get a glass of water, I put a scoop into it, and I cannot get enough. I'm already on my second tub of this because I got to test it before it came out for pre-order or out on the regular market now. I love it. It's got the biotin, it's got the collagen, it's got really everything you need to get the best chance for your beard to grow healthy, for your beard to grow to its maximum potential. It's not a miracle. It's not going to fill in patches. It's not going to make hair grow where it was not. It's not going to make you just, boom, explode with this crazy beard. But it can help. It absolutely can. If you don't believe me, just look up studies on biotin and collagen and how they help the growth of hair, how they help the skin underneath the hair. It's all proven. It's all science there. So my top 2 products from Fable would be their oil and then their Juggernaut beard growth supplement, beard health supplement is I guess what you could say there. All right, let's get into our last Fable historical beard, and then we'll get into the giveaway winner from yesterday and then announce the new giveaway today. Historical beard of the day today is going to be, boom, Walt Whitman. Yes, the famous American poet, and he did rock a full beard. Different versions of it throughout his life, but having full coverage of facial hair was a pretty consistent for him, and I don't think a lot of people think of him when they think of beards. I know when I brought it up to Sam and I was telling her all this stuff about Walt Whitman, she was like, he had a beard? Yeah, he had a beard. Now, his life was full of tragedies and sad stories, like so many of the people that we've already covered on 12 Days of Beardsmas. When you study history, you really just kind of appreciate what we have now. When you look back, life was just harder. It was harder to survive. It was harder to live through sickness and operations and just I love how far we've come. I'm excited to see how far we come even more in my lifetime, in my kids' lifetime. Thank goodness for technology and advancements, because some of the tragedies included losing a sibling at the age of 6 months old. They didn't even have a name for the sibling yet. Another one was he had another brother die of TB. Another was he had to personally check a brother of his into a lunatic asylum. That's what they called insane asylums at the time. Lost his dad tragically, lost friends tragically. So many sad stories, but we're going to try not to focus on those ones today, but rather just talk about his life, his journey to success, his challenges along the way. He is wildly fascinating, and there's even some things that we're not going to get into in this video, but if you find this interesting, I highly encourage you, go research, go read other things. You'll be like, oh yeah, that's why Dan didn't cover this here. Yeah, you got me. Check it out. You guys got homework now. So it all started in Long Island. Walt was born in Long Island, grew up in Manhattan for most of his life, and he was in a very poor family. They had 9 kids in the family that had survived, and they were really struggling to pay bills and make ends meet. So Walt dropped out of school at the age of 11. And got several different jobs to try and contribute and gave all the money to the family. Now, he was self-taught and was known to be very intelligent, bright, and smart. His first job was assisting at a law office, whatever you want to call it. They had different terminology for it back then. And he helped do research and organize and get all these things going. And then he transitioned to a printing business or a publishing business, which was great experience to help him later in life. And then he actually became a teacher at the age of 17. Yes, the kid that dropped out of school at 11 became a teacher at 17. Whew, the times are very, very different now as compared to back then. But that led him into really kind of diving into his own poetry, his own writing, and he self-funded his first major work of art, and that was Leaves of Grass. At the time, very controversial because it had some sexual tones to it, and it just, even in places like Boston, it was banned. Wasn't allowed in schools, even went to court and they upheld it and said, nope, you cannot have this here. Like, dang, now it's just straight up legendary. Well, when he was starting to become famous and starting to get this work, he was really kind of in an interesting time. This was the time period of the Civil War. He did not enter the Civil War, but he had a brother that did, and this was when it was like everything going on and it was not the internet that we have now to see things. Well, Walt finds out that his brother gets captured by the Confederates and he thinks that he's injured or possibly dead. So Walt goes to Washington, D.C. His brother ended up being fine, but Walt witnessed like the devastation of this war and wanted to do something about it. So he started volunteering at local hospitals, and the main thing he did was he was bringing in meals for these injured soldiers, and those meals were mainly funded by donations by his friends. And speaking of his friends, this is where we start to get interesting here. Walt was known to almost always be naked, whether it was with gatherings with his friends and parties or around his family. He was known to go sunbathing naked and swim skinny dipping naked. He spent a large portion of his life, some of it even documented with photographs. I didn't check him out, but I read about it. Was said to have been naked. Now, when he was interviewed about this, like, why are you always naked? He said, nature is naked. Why shouldn't we be? Well, I'm a fan of clothes. If you guys hang out with me, please wear clothes. That would be highly encouraged. Also, speaking of friends, one of his best friends was the author of Dracula and was cited with saying that Walt Whitman was the inspiration behind the personality of Dracula. Talk about making into like a resume. Like, why are you qualified? Well, my personality inspired Dracula. That is pretty wild. And also, speaking of inspirations, Walt Whitman was very inspired by Abraham Lincoln. He beloved him. He loved what he stood for, to the point where he started his own anti-slavery newspaper and was the editor of it, the publisher of it. It meant that much to him. And when Abraham Lincoln died, it was devastating to Walt. He then put out some of his most famous works of art, including the one that I knew the most, which is Oh Captain, My Captain, right? Probably from Dead Poets Society, where a lot of you heard of that. And man, yeah, Abraham Lincoln just left this lasting impression with Walt Whitman, and he tried to carry that over into all aspects of his life. Now, towards the end of his life, he did have a stroke that left him paralyzed and all sorts of complications. And with those complications, an interesting thing is Walt was not scared of death. He was not afraid of this. He actually, once he started to see kind of the light at the end of the tunnel, he started designing his own tomb. He wanted to have this special place where people could come visit, where people could leave things and write poems. And so he designed his own tomb, and it's this nice little building. I've seen pictures of it. Not a lot of people like to think about their death, and they want to openly design the tomb that they're going to stay in. Man, this guy truly was very, very fascinating. And then, of course, he did end up dying from complications from that stroke. But he saw so much success in his life, and it was even magnified after he died. All that controversy that kind of held him back, he had other things that were out there that you guys will read about that just kind of went away, and then his art just flourished after his years of death. Very, very interesting guy, and for pretty much his whole life, rocked a full beard. Giveaway time with a little bit of Fable magic here. Let's make the winner of yesterday's Royal Beardsman $50 value giveaway up here. Waboom! Congratulations. They will reach out to you. Same thing, if they have not in about a week, get a hold of me. I'll make sure I connect you guys to make sure you get your winnings. And I appreciate you guys entering. I appreciate all the support. We have our last Fable giveaway of this series. I feature Fable all the time for giveaways on Command's Corner every Monday night, live stream, 9 p.m. Eastern. Please be there. I promise you'll have some good vibes and some good times. Well, all you need to do is the same rules as before. I'm not trying to like catch anybody. I just want to make sure you guys are actually supporting the channel and doing everything you should here. Number one is make sure you're subscribed and remain subscribed. Number two, make sure you leave a comment on this video. I would love to hear from you if you've used Fable, what products you use the most. If you have not, which ones you think would fit your style the most. And then number three, the Gleam link, of course. Thank you guys. After this one, only 3 more episodes of 12 Days of Beardsmas. Then we got to wait about 11 and a half months, and then it'll be back again. Dancy Bearded, you guys. Thanks for watching. Stay bearded and stay positive.